let the beat guide your way. Unlock your potential, seize the day. From the dance floor to the boardroom, let your light shine, shine. Skillweed Academy, it's your time. Feel the drums pulsating, the energy so strong. Join the movement where dreams belong. From Lagos to Nairobi, hear the call. Skillweed Academy, break down the walls. Rise up, leaders, let the beat guide your way. Unlock your potential, seize the day. From the dance floor to the boardroom, let your light shine, shine.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining, everybody. Thank you all. Let's go. Thank you all. Hopefully, we'll make it one of the most eventful time of your day. We'll keep coming in the next 2 minutes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Feel the drums pulsating, the energy so strong.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you all for joining. Thank you. Thank you. If you don't mind, let's slam some like and let's know where you're calling in from. If you don't mind, just chat. Where are you? Let's see. Simon in the house. Ashley. Thank you, Richie. Thank you so much, folks. Let's go. Let's go, people. Thank you all. We'll kick off in a minute. Just let everybody know we are live right now. New Jersey in the house. Thank you, Dio. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Sanctified. Thank you. All right, Dallas in the house. Let's see what part of the world we are calling in from. Thank you, Dallas. Big D, let's go. Thank you, everybody. If you don't mind, just click like. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lagos in the house. DMV in the house. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Nana. Let's go. Thank you, everybody. Our goal is to make it one of the most eventful time of your day today. Hopefully, you learn one or two things from our interaction today and add some element of value to yourself and the professional community as a whole. So we look forward to it. It will be a blast, folks. Oh, thank you. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Toronto in the house. It's in the house. Thank you, Lagos in the house. All right, Edmonton, Canada in the house. Let's go. Calgary in the house. Woohoo. Awesome. Damilola from Abuja in the house. Thank you. Thank you, Atlanta in the house. It's down. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, Big D, Dallas in the house. EMB in the house. Thank you all. Thank you, Lagos in the house. Let's go, people. Thank you all. Michigan in the house. Let's go, Judy. Cape Town in the house. South Africa. Awesome. Let's go. British Columbia, Canada in the house. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always a delight to hang out with our community. Thank you all for taking the time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's get into it real quick, everybody, and make this one of the most eventful time of our day. All right, thank you, everybody, once again. Thank you, thank you, thank you for making time to community. There are so many things we can be doing today. You chose to hang out with us. So thank you so much, folks. All right, let's get started. So, one of the things I will just quickly throw out there so that we can align with this is we all agree one of the crazy buzzword everywhere in the world today is AI. If you don't know anything about AI, I challenge you just plug in and just go spend a few minutes on YouTube. Go to our page on YouTube. You'll see a lot of great things there on AI also, and I think you'll be up to speed. But I'll tell you one thing, this is our new normal now. Everyone on this call, this is our new reality. Some years back, our reality was all about cloud, 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 cloud. Then suddenly there was COVID. Now we are thinking about remote workforce. Now we have to think of security for our remote employees. That became a big trend. Recently, the new trends are AI models out there, right? And one thing that is big for us, we can all agree at the minimum is there should be some level of oversight. When the social media, buzz came out, everybody was just excited. Now we can connect with all our lost friends, all our old schoolmates, our family, and everything. Boom. Okay. Over time, we realized there needed to be oversight, right? The Congress in all over the world were now bringing all the social media companies to come and talk about how do they put some measures of security around what they do. So it was a big deal, right? So we can all agree that was a huge, huge part of the puzzle at some point, right? The same frenzy is going on right now with AI, right? Artificial intelligence. Now, let's keep it simple. You and I are users. We are focused on the use case. I'm using it for writing articles, for doing research, for probably generating images, for creating songs, or analyzing images like your MRI, CT scan, X-ray. Believe it now, those tools can do it. I can psychoanalyze you as I'm speaking with you. I can be analyzing your expression. I can do lie detector remotely. It is crazy the use cases now. I mean, we have a program coming out soon. Look out for that. Crazy use cases. This time you get to see yourself using those different tools. Insane. I'm telling you, you'll be shocked how much this has evolved within 2 years. It's scary because if 2 years can be this crazy, can you imagine for a second 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? So it's going to be something crazy, right? So I say all this to say, at the moment, it's a big global concern. Now, where do we come in? For a few weeks, some of us, we were part of our internship program. We decided to say, okay, and this is the first of its kind I've seen out there anyway. We decided to say, oh, you know what, let's kind of go through what to look for, what to check for when we are focusing on providing security oversight, privacy concern, bias concern for large language models. So when you use your chat GPT, they have models they use. You might see GPT-4o, GPT-4 Lite, 3.5. All of those are models they've put together, right? If you go to Cloudy, if you go to Copilot, if you go to BAD, all of them have their own large model. As a matter of fact, there's a site, and you can follow us on our AI and U community. You see where you can actually download your own large language model and personalize it, play with it, use it the way you want to use it, right? It is crazy. So the common question you ask, everybody asks is, okay, all right, Mister, all right, are we allowed to use it in our organization? That's the common question. That okay, will it be a concern? Will somebody make it a big deal within our organization? The question is this: think for a second, put yourself in the shoe of your senior leadership. Do you want your employees to suffer in terms of executing projects while your competitors are using an effective way of executing projects? The answer is simple yes. You don't want them to suffer. The heck no, I don't want my employees to suffer. So use it. You would use it. All of us are going to be part of it. All right. Now, the concern is how do we use it safely, effectively, without any problem or concern around privacy, bias, security. We can agree on those regular trends around it. So, most organizations today, what I've seen is that they have decided to adopt their own large language models, right? And the whole essence of it is that now that they've adopted it, what they simply do is they would make sure they put the right security around it, the right oversight around it, the right privacy concern around it, and make their consumers, their customers, the regulators, the government more relaxed and comfortable with them. As simple as that. That is the big concern now. Where do you come in? You come in because you and I can position ourselves as the subject matter expert to come in to do an assessment and benchmark an existing environment to see if there are gaps in their current implementation of all these large language models. Because it's not a function of if, it is when everybody's going to use it. As a matter of fact, some of you right now, your companies are already utilizing it and piloting it. Some are integrated with Copilot, some are integrated with BAD. So everybody's integrating with one of these major players out there today. I'm sure you all followed the old few weeks ago. The big talking point was CrowdStrike the last few days, right? And endpoint security company. Suddenly, the whole world went crazy. Microsoft crazy. They pushed out some upgrade, and as a matter of fact, it was a big disaster globally. The CEO was just everywhere, because suddenly you started seeing blue screen, and the gap is that there was no proper testing before they pushed out all their patches, right? So a lot of issues now. The industry is really concerned. So imagine if we have similar issue with large language models. Now, you might ask me and say, well, are they supposed to be safe? Yes, they are supposed to be safe. But what happens if their safety is compromised? Now, let's put it in perspective. Think for a second. If I'm in a clinical research organization where we are doing clinical research for oncology patients, cancer patients, sometimes stage four, stage patients. So, and I alter their data, immediately we are talking about potential loss of lives, right? So I say all that to say what we do matter. They need people like you and I to come in and assess their current model and give them recommendations on what they can do better. So it's a big deal. So today we have one of our folks with us. She would be interviewing for a role, and I'll show us what some of those roles are right now. I've seen a few of them: AI compliance analyst. They call them different titles, but I would just like to show you all what I've seen out there. Okay, the good thing is that, like I mentioned, these are new roles for a lot of organization right now. So uh, pretty much all of us are still trying to figure it out. So let me share with you so that you can see some of the roles out there, because some of us are thinking, well, what are these roles? Who is really hiring for them? But let's look at some of the roles out there that I've seen. If you can see my screen, you can see the way they kind of title it. You can see AI compliance specialist has been a popular one out there. And you can see their responsibilities here, really, at the end of the day. Of course, for most of these responsibilities, for my folks that have done cyber GRC, you can align better because you can also use some of those requirements they're asking for in combination with this to just give you a very much more deeper understanding. Now, look at this other one: artificial intelligence governance analyst. And the beautiful thing is that I took a look at most of those roles. They are similar to the things we touched in the internship. That's the beautiful thing around it. So, without further ado, we have somebody in our community right now that she is ready to do a quick mock interview for the role of an AI compliance analyst. And what I've done is that for some of you, you must have seen this documentation. We put together some recommended questions and answers. If you don't have this, you can ping us later. We can throw it out to you. These are some good questions around, AI compliance analyst role, and some recommended responses that we can consider using. So feel free to use it. If you have such an interview coming up, you can leverage this for sure. With us today, Ola in the house. How are you, sis? What's up?
Very well, thank you. Good afternoon. How are you
I
today?
love it. I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you. So you know the drill, Ola. The community is going to be helping me out. And folks, don't forget to smash like, okay? Somebody said, oh, cost from recent outage to hit $1 billion. Wow. Okay, got that. Okay, somebody said AI ethics. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right. So the nice thing, ladies and gentlemen, is how we do it here. I am the facilitator. You all extra questions I can ask Ola to. I have some questions in mind I'm going to ask her, and she's aware of some of the ways and style we do it already. This is a AI compliance analyst role. The expectation is straight. I would ask her specifically some specifics in terms of security around the large language model, blah, blah, blah. So you guys will see the drill. Now, sis, remember again, at your best days in our community, we are going to give you 5. Not because we think you're not competent to get 10 over 10, but because we want to force you and push you to go the limit, to push the envelope, and ultimately get yourself to 9 or 10. So, all right, just don't take it personal. All right, cool. All right, without further ado, let's just get into the weeds of it and just have fun, sis. All right, so let's get started. So I saw a resume online. I think you might be a fit for one of our role at the moment. We are looking for an AI compliance analyst. We are just implementing a large language model, and within our team, we'll be transparent with you. We have no clue on the set of controls we should look out for. This is the first of its kind in our community, in our organization right now. So we want to see, we saw your resume that you've done a similar project before. Can you walk us through specifically what are the key things we should look out for as we deploy this large language model?
Thank you very much. For you to deploy a large language model, which is the LLM, you need to be security conscious. For instance, we have to keep to the regulations for the AI regulations and standards. We have to make sure that the company policies and company requirements are met, and it has to go hand in hand with the regulatory requirements of the general body. And then we have to put in consideration the GDPR as well, because so many companies will be getting fines, very huge amounts, because
Okay.
of data protection and all that. So
Okay. So for us, we don't have any presence in Europe. Would GDPR be applicable to us?
um if you're not in Europe where GDPR is a big issue, in other
Yeah.
parts of the world as well, there are regulations as well.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So for us that we are a North American based company, what framework would you recommend that we implement? Because we have no idea. There are quite a number of frameworks out there, but which one would you recommend we kind of utilize?
Yeah, in my previous experience, I
Yeah.
worked with the ISO 2701
Yeah.
AI extension, and we also worked with the NIST framework,
Okay.
which yeah can do the magic for us.
Okay, great. Can you tell us specifically the controls we should be worried about? Because really, we are really concerned right now. We have, like I mentioned, we don't know anything. We've read in the news there are a lot of issues around AI bias, AI security. We have no clue. So, how do we approach this if you were to advise us?
Yeah, based on the framework we're going to use, we're going to be very security conscious in terms of data privacy. And we have to ensure that we follow the processes and policies. And in terms of, um, we have to make sure that the control, we look at the risk involved,
Yeah.
which has to do with the policies and data protection and
Okay. What kind of
the
risk do you think? What kind of risk is involved? What are the risks involved for us to look out for? Because we are just so new to this. What are the
yeah,
risks we should look out for?
we're talking about the personal, in terms of when you look at the assessment,
Yeah.
like when we assess the policy, or probably for instance, if you put your data into the learning model, you have
Yeah.
to make sure there are no personal information which could get us into violating the GDPR rules, and then
Okay.
probably so that we don't fall victim of any cyber theft or anything like that.
All right. So how do you recommend we can design a process around anonymization whereby we can make sure we don't have personal information in the large learning model? What do you recommend we do? Do we build systems, procedures, or what do we do in that case though?
Well, we have to conduct risk assessment and then implement a solution to ensure that the anonymization and compliance is with GDPR, and to collaborate with the development team. And
Yeah.
we have to make sure that We integrate data masking techniques and introduce regular compliance audits, which is very important. The
Okay.
audit, when it's regular, we will be able to figure out if there's anything going wrong, then we can correct it.
What do you mean regular in your case? Is it what's the frequency of what's regular to you? Is it quarterly, yearly, semi? We don't know. What
Yeah,
is regular?
actually, we have to look at how often the company put out information out there, and
Okay,
then so we will now maybe quarterly will be fine, or
okay,
if not, we might do it like monthly basis.
got it. Can you describe your approach to conducting a comprehensive risk assessment for an AI large language model? What's going to be your approach to identify, prioritize, and mitigate the risk? What's your approach? What's going to be your steps in general?
Yeah, because we have some documents that are supposed to be in place.
Yeah,
So, and we've got the framework in place. So
yeah.
we have to make sure that we conduct the the risk assessment in line with the requirements, that's
Okay.
what is expected of us. So
So
it has to be
what is the
AI
steps though?
compliance.
Yeah, what are the steps you typically take to conduct the risk assessment? Do you first identify the risk around the AI systems? Then you now check the likelihood, the impact. What's your step? What's your approach in general?
Yeah, like I said earlier, like we have to do the risk assessment, and then the step in assessing the risk is that we check the impact in the mitigation of like we use the mitigation strategy
Okay,
to resolve issues that might likely to come up, and then the regular risk assessment will help us
got it.
to
So I guess
determine what is wrong.
my question is before we think of the mitigation of the risk, how do we understand the risk within the business right now? Because we are just about to implement a large language model in our healthcare environment. So we want to know, are we going to first identify the key risk we think could potentially happen, then now start understanding the threats around it, then start building what's the likelihood, the impact, the overall risk, then come up with mitigation. Then once we do that, we come with an action plan, prioritize those mitigation, put them in risk registry. I- We do that in some of our other process. So I'm kind of curious, is that what you do also? And if so, just walk me through that process.
Yes, for instance, in my previous project I worked on, I led an initiative to audit a model for
Yeah.
buyers. So one of the things we look out for is if the system is not biased, like we have to ensure that it is fair and it treats certain demographic group equally, like it doesn't have any bias in it.
Got it. How do you do that though? How
We
do you have like
definitely
a
So what we do is we have to constantly meet with the team, like the development team, the technical team, and the stakeholders as well, using one of the regulate. Sorry, excuse
yeah,
me.
that's okay.
This approach is not only ensure it doesn't only ensure compliance. We have to look at fairness in regulation. So we also look at how fair is this
Got it.
AI model.
Okay.
So apart from making sure that it complies with regulation, we have to make sure it's fair as well. And we use the framework to resolve that.
Okay. Can you provide a case where the application of some of your framework resulted in enhanced risk mitigation in general? So, for example, for us, if we use we've used the NIST in the past, and we kind of internally used it to kind of play around, and we realized our access control had some gaps, and we had to remediate it. So, do you have an example like that?
In terms of structured approach, that the structured approach we use is for a comprehensive understanding of the risk, which
Okay,
will effectively mitigate the strategies. leading to about 40% reduction in identified risk, which
Okay.
will
Now,
help us to enhance compliance in the industry.
was the structural approach as a result of using the ISO 27001 AI extension, or was this from NIST AI? Which of them?
We use the NIST AI
Okay,
management framework.
got it. Okay, that is fair. Um, okay, can you provide an example of a compliance challenge you faced in your previous role, and how did you resolve it?
Okay. So, for instance, if customers are using the AI powered system, or we use the system to support customers, and they probably um, have issues with our data performance, we
Yeah,
have to analyze the performance and make sure that we respond with accuracy and compliance to customers' interaction policies. We use statistical method, and this data-driven approach demonstrates how quantitative analysis can effectively address compliance.
got it. Okay. Um, Third party is one of our big concerns right now within our organization. So, how do you manage risk associated with third party vendors and the AI service they provide? For example, internally right now, we are thinking of using Microsoft Copilot. So, and we know this is a third party to us. We are not privy to their AI large language model internally. So, what do you think we should do to protect ourselves? Um, and how do we mitigate that risk?
Sorry, can you rephrase the question again?
So we have quite a number of third parties that are pitching AI large language model for us to use. So my
Yeah.
question is, for those third party, what are the best ways we can get ourselves ready and not expose ourselves to further risk?
So for the third party, what we need to ensure is that we're ready to we have to ensure that they comply with the rules, the policies, and follow the procedures of the organization. And then we have to constantly meet with them to ensure they're doing it right, so that
Okay.
we won't have any issues because
How
of
do we how do how do
cybersecurity.
we how do we verify they are doing it right though?
Yeah, that's with constant meeting with the partners, the third party vendors.
Okay, got it. All right. I know this is a little bit specific, but apart from the AI extension, can you speak to some of the specific controls within the ISO that speaks directly to the AI implementation?
The
What
risk
about
control
access
model.
control? Okay, go ahead,
Yes,
please.
so the access control, what we have to do to ensure that we comply to that is that the technical team have to be involved, and then we have to give them the rules that they don't give everybody access. So
Okay,
the limited access to people who only need to be given access. So we also have to take approval from the stakeholders. So it
okay,
makes the process like security tight. Like
okay.
we have to follow process.
Got it. Okay, so how do you ensure ethical use of AI models in your project? And I noticed you mentioned, you kind of provide oversights in your resume for AI ethics and bias. So how do you typically do that to ensure that there is effective and ethical use of AI?
So the integrated AI compliance and cybersecurity measures are what we use to try to make sure that we identify vulnerabilities, and we implement security control tailored to AI system.
Okay.
Like, am I answering correctly?
Well, so
Did
what I
I
was
answer your question?
partly, so I was hoping you had a checklist of some of the key ethical framework where you typically check to ensure that there is limited bias? For example, they should have an AI bias report that they would have done and test and give you the report based on their conclusion. So typically, we would expect them to provide us like a result of the test they did, for their model to make sure there's
Okay.
not no bias. So that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to ask for all the documents, which is like a an Excel sheet which
Yeah.
will have all the information of all the tests that have been done and the results that is gotten, and then we have to use application to test it if it's okay. For
Okay.
instance, if they have done the security control, if they have done the risk management, like they've checked for all the risk and how they have been able to curb it. So
Yeah.
everything will be checked to ensure that they are in a good stand, in a good space.
Got it. Okay. So this is a scenario we kind of thought about in our team. Your AI development team is pushing for a quick development of a new model, but you've identified potential security and compliance risk. How would you deal with that?
So if we have identified security and compliance risk, what
Yeah.
we need to do is to call the technical team and
Yeah.
the development team to come together with the stakeholders to decide who are the people who actually need to have access to the data. And then it's only people who need the access that will be given access. So by reducing the access, it's part of the control that will be in place that can resolve
Okay.
the issue.
Got it. And a follow up to that is just that one of the things we've seen a lot is, of course, everybody's very agile in implementation. How do you think we should consider processing the speed of execution versus security and compliance so that we have a balance? We want to do our job, but at the same time, we want to make sure we are in compliance and security. What do you recommend we do to keep us grounded in both world?
We have to establish a robust management process to make sure that we always check,
Yeah,
do diligence check, compliance audit. We have to always make sure that when we are dealing with even the third party, we always check the contract for clauses that specify adherence to regulatory requirements.
got it. Got it. Love it. So, just a general attack. Right now with the emergence of new technology comes the potential malicious use of it. A big one we've seen right now are deep fakes, adversary attack simulation. So, for you, how do you think our organization should think through this process in terms of deep fake? For example, we saw a case where a malicious actor organized a meeting and use the voice and the faces of all the top executive for them to process an invoice, and it was actually done, but it was deep fake. So the Zoom meeting was there, and all the attendees of the meeting were fake. They looked real, their voices were cloned. So how do we mitigate those potential risks?
Okay, so one of the ways to mitigate the risk is to ensure that we develop a data management plan so that information about the company doesn't get into the hands of uh, people who could use it in a negative way against the company. So
Yeah.
that plan must be in place to make sure that we are compliant with the regulatory regulations of the GDPR.
Okay. Now, beside, okay, because GDPR is just for European, right? So just in terms of compliance, so internally we've built some AI policies and procedure internally to us. We are considering mapping to NIST and possibly ISO AI extension. GDPR at the moment, maybe our vendors might be impacted, but we are not directly because we don't have direct clients in European Union member states.
Okay,
So
so
it's not
like the
really applicable.
integration of AI compliance and cybersecurity measures,
Yeah.
it can reduce security incidents involving AI system and it will improve overall data protection.
Okay. Perfect.
So when I employed to be the AI compliance, I'm going to make sure that the organization, when we assess all that we need to do about the framework, we have to make
Yeah.
sure that it pass the subsequent security audits with no major findings.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Now, another question we had is, how would you recommend we manage changes in our large language model? Sometimes there will be a need for change. Let's say you find a gap, an AI bias, and changes are being made. What's a recommended best practice we should use to manage changes in this large language model? What's your take?
Um, because the AI, we have to develop the development life cycle,
Yeah.
so we have to make sure that there are ethical consideration and there are transparency and accountability, which
Okay.
is crucial to the challenging, to
Okay.
be able to navigate through the challenges.
Okay. So do you think there should be like a change request and the changes should be approved, authorized, and there should be testing in place? Is that something you think we should also do?
Yes, if there is a need for a change,
Yeah.
definitely the parties involved have to come together to decide on the policies, measurement, compliance, and then the stakeholders have to approve it so that we
Okay.
can adhere to the compliance.
Got it. Now, for us, because we are healthcare, we're also required to be in compliance with our PHI record. So sometimes if we deploy a new solution, we want to make sure we do a DPIA, data privacy impact assessment. Is that something you've done before or you're familiar with?
I'm familiar with it in the sense that we we look at the data of the company and then make
Yeah.
sure that the compliance is up to date. We're compliant with every of the regulations.
Give me one of the popular compliance requirements that we should be aware of.
Apart
Is it
from the
just the general one you think? I know encryption comes to mind. Is there any other one you want to mention? Um, r- Response, maybe incident response.
okay, yeah, we have to have a plan in place for the incident response. For instance, if
Okay,
anything goes wrong, so the plan we have in place, we quickly carry out so that we can mitigate the risk.
got it. Okay, all right. Let's see. Okay, the other thing I wanted to ask you is, in general, where do you see the trend of AI in the next 5 years? And if you had a magical crystal ball, what would you say we should do different to be prepared for the future?
Yes. In the next 5 years, I know that AI would have even gone more robust than it is right now. And every company, irrespective of the industry, would need to start to use it so that they're not outdated. Because if you say because there are risk involved and you don't want to be part of it, then you might become obsolete. So while we all embrace the AI, we all have to be conscious of the risk involved, and then we all have to try to make sure that we have plan in place to mitigate against any form of um, security that comes from
Got
using
it.
the AI system, the large
Okay,
language.
excellent. Now, one more question before you can ask any of your question also. Now, a popular thing we've seen internally in our process is our dev team feel security controls are slowing down their work in terms of efficiency, and they want to discuss the impact of slowing their work at the same time make sure they are in compliance and not violating security requirements. How would you handle such a delicate balance? There's one part security and compliance, there's the other part we need to do our work. How do you balance it for them?
Yes, we have to make sure that we analyze the performance, including response accuracy, compliance with interaction policies. So we have to use different methods, statistical method, and we have to identify patterns and areas to improve. So every time we have to collaborate with the engineering team, development team, the stakeholders, everybody have to come together to ensure that we all enhance the system performance.
Okay, got it. All right. Thank you so much, Ola. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes.
Sure.
So, yes. So, I want to know how you have prepared for any incidents. What are the plans you have in
Yeah.
place
Okay.
in case of any security um, attack?
And we'll be transparent, Ola, and that's why we need someone with experience. It's a new thing for us. We have our standard incident response plan. We've never been attacked in terms of our AI large language model yet. So we hope to follow our standard incident response plan. Now we are building and putting together a playbook for AI large language model attack in terms of a malicious act, code being injected into our system. So we're kind of playing multiple scenarios right now, but it's new to us. So we hope we are prepared. That's all we can hope right now.
Okay. So, because I know I have worked in the past in this field, so if I'm employed, I'm the right person candidate for this position. So I'll be able to check out what is in place and see how it's meeting up to standard and how we can fine tune and make sure that the company is safe without any risk.
Thank you so much. And we are currently doing more interviews, but definitely you 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 did a great job with the conversation we've had so far.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you.
All right. Okay, folks, let's first give her a drum roll to take a breath and relax and not lose our mind. Let's first give her some. All right. Uh huh. Let's make her calm down. Good, good, good. All right, all right, folks. Okay, open to your feedback. I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I want all of us, if you don't mind, give us some round of applause. Just say thank you, well done, whatever you want to say, and I'll tell you why. This is the first person doing our AI compliance analyst interview. It's a new thing for all of us. I'll tell you, it can only get better. You know, I'm not even sure I would do a better job than this myself, to be honest, because it's a new thing. All of us are still trying to figure out to get. So this is so amazing because I bet you by the time she puts all of the thought and structure together, one thing I'll just call out sis is we're not going to use we, okay? We're going to use I, what you did, okay? Make sure you take credit and own your stuff. What you did, be specific, okay? For other areas, what I would like you to do is have like 4, 5 ready to go. If I talk about AI bias, you know what you're talking about because you ask for bias report, you give example, you say for healthcare patient and research, for example, I check the demographic data of the participant. I check to analyze if we have more or even ratio of different demographic. That's easy to analyze and do, right? Then you go into things like access control. Who has access to our large language model? How do you grant access to them? Principle of least privilege, role-based access, multi-factor authentication. So we kind of put all of those together big time. Somebody asked you about change management. Always remember for all of us, when you're making a change, at the minimum, make sure the change is approved, is authorized. There's a testing done. If you remember what happened to CrowdStrike, testing was one of the big gaps.
Yes.
So you want to
Yeah.
make sure testing is done. Those are the things people want to hear, right? Then, in
Okay.
terms of also regulation, always have two ready. I know for then be careful. I know you were kind of throwing my GDPR, GDPR. I think you love this GDPR so much. You were just holding up to your GDPR. But
Maybe
it's
because
okay.
I'm in Europe, it's
Yeah,
a
because
big
you're in
deal
Europe.
here.
So I love it. So you played it well because you're in Europe. So GDPR is strong. So okay, that makes sense now. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I forgot that part. Okay, you're right. So but for us in North America, so I guess okay, I think that's fair. So stick with your GDPR because that would be big for you anyway. But if you are talking to North American clients, make GDPR secondary. For you, GDPR will be big. So I agree. That makes sense. Okay, now I understand. Yeah, that's true. All right, then. But overall, your confidence is there. I love your confidence. You kind of held your ground. Now, what we are going to do is put some more substance for everything. You have it. All I need is put it together now. In your
Okay.
mind, you must structure 5 scenario for me, ready to go. The scenario would be things you say, this was the problem, and this is the resolution. One of my model had biased data. We extracted information. There was a bias report that came out, and I went further to conduct a root cause analysis of the bias. We noted there were a tilt in the demographic data. The large language model was retested, revamped, and eventually the result came out much more comprehensive and less biased. So you kind of gave me an example of okay, it was biased, and I'll give you an example. Some of you must have heard it from one of our mentors that came. She said she put a prompt for an African American female, and the prompt came out as a
A
white
male.
man, a
Mm.
male. That's fine, and the male came out bowed. So it didn't just make her a white man, it also gave her a bowed head. So it was kind of so obvious that the testing model did not have certain demography in that case, right? So that's the kind of way we have to think about it. But I think overall this was great in terms of it's the first time we're doing it, so I'm so impressed that okay, for a first timer, I think it's only going to get better. So let's see some comments here. Bintu, thank you. Bintu said she did a great job. Dominica said, well, some job. I love this. She will do great with more practice. Definitely. You know, well done, girl. Benita, Leke. I mean, really, because I know this is tough. I mean, I give you respect for volunteering. Really, this is if it's for
Thank
other
you.
field, we have model to kind of go back and see what it looks like. For even
Mm.
me interviewing you for the first time on AI compliance, this is my first time interviewing anyone for a compliance AI compliance role. So it's a learning curve for all of us. But this was great for a first timer, really. So
Thank you very much. I
let's
appreciate
see another one. Okay, I like this. Somebody said let's get some constructive feedback too. Like we said, make sure we put, more explanation, make the concept better. And I know it will be better because once you have your 5 use case ready to go, if we wake you, this five you're going to talk about it overall. Chibuzo said, great job, Oprah. Hey, hi, Oprah Winfrey. Thank you. Good job. All right, let's see. Well done. Let's see. Pelumi said, well done. Good job. Let's see this also. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I'm impressed, really, to be honest. I think, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Somebody said for first interview, she did pretty good. I love her courage. I do too. That was very courageous. I'll tell you for sure. I love that. Well done for your confidence. Somebody said respect. I joined that sentiment. Kofi said outstanding. Okay, let's see another one. Okay, I like this. Okay. This part, and this goes to everybody, always somebody said make sure your eye movement. So sometimes, because I think she's using ipad, so it's a little bit but for all of us, once you have an interview, practice. And before you come to alliance, then mostly we always do like a few minutes of practice to look straight. So for you to make sure you find, for all of us, when you're doing an interview, because now that's what we do, is virtual mostly. So just make sure the eye contact, there's good lighting. So we've done all that before you guys jumped in anyway. But let's maximize it. Get another one. Okay, somebody, hey, Bumi Fadiora, I think your questions were excellent. They were not challenging, they were excellent questions. You kind of pushed it to another level. Love it. Somebody said tough questions. Absolutely. Tough it was. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Somebody said star approach. Now, I love this for everybody. The star approach is saying situation, task, action, result. That is great. But one thing I'll challenge everybody is that When sometimes because of the tension of interview, you might forget star approach. That's okay. When that happens, please don't forget two things: problem resolution. At the minimum, that's what I care about, right? If you are looking for someone to do your job, come and paint my house. This is the problem you've done in the past. How did you resolve it? That's what I care about, right? So even if everything you forget everything, let's say you forget star approach, tell me what the problem was that you solved and what how did you resolve it? That's it. That's all I care really. So if everything falls apart, everybody always remember what was the problem I'm trying to solve and how did I solve it. That's it. If you can get me to that point, then mentally I'm good. Tell me the problem, how did you resolve it? That's it. So in your case, AI model bias, AI security issue, AI compliance issue, regulatory concern. Tell me how you resolve it. That's it. All right. At the minimum, let's turn it down. Somebody said, Fadira, your questions were tough. I love the questions. I said, I was just saying, boy, I don't want to be the one this guy is interviewing to, really. The guy was just amazing. I love it. All right. Somebody said, I plan to come. I'm rethinking the question. Listen, folks, at the end of the day, I mean this for us all, we have an opportunity of a community. It's not skill weed alone. It's your show. We help and uplift everybody else. So you rarely see a community like this, to be honest. So we just want to help each other. We don't need to know each other, but one thing we have in common, we are looking out for each other to maximize your potential. That's it. And we'll keep doing that. So show up when you have the opportunity. You only get better. I can guarantee you. I will not be shocked. Our statistics are excellent. Our folks that come to the Lions Den, over 80% of them have a job normally within the first 3 months. I tell you that. I will not be shocked if she calls me, hey, bro, hey, I got it. It's normal. I will not be surprised, to be honest, because hey, she's put the work. So I challenge everybody, don't run from interviewing. Just make sure you show up. Do it. Why not? Why not you? You deserve it too. If other people are doing it, why not you? Do it. No big deal. All right, let's another one. All right, I like this. As you build your scenario, this is always a nice one. I like this comment from Kunle. You know, um, make sure you can always tie to the value to me, quantitative and quality. Even if it's not quantitative, give me qualitative, better experience, more efficiency, time management, whatever it is. Quantitative is nice because it makes me put a number to it, right? But at the minimum, give me a quantitative or qualitative value at the end of the day, okay? Um, yeah, but I mean, those are the key things. I mean, this is really, really great. Thank you so much. Let's give some love again to Ola. I mean, you are just a rock star. You knocked it off. At least the confidence. I
Thank you
was
very
trying to startle her a couple of times to get her out of her game, but she was just stone cold calm. She was still kind of so. I don't know how you do it, but that was really good. Another thing I would
Thank
ask
you
you
very much.
that I observed when I started the interview because I didn't even give you a chance. I didn't act friendly. I just went straight in. Then you also went straight in. Never go straight in. I challenge everybody because it will straddle you a little bit. Always
Thank you.
stick to your script. Do the salutation. Hey, thank you, Jack. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Akin, for giving me the opportunity to have an interview. Never lose that script. The reason
Thank
that
you.
script is always important is it makes you set your tone. Now you are now saying, hey, this is my show. I've greeted you. Let me now do my show, right? So make sure it's your show at the end of the day. All right. Love this. A lot of love to you. Very
Thank you
well
very
done. I'm
much.
so impressed too. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's give some love again. Thank you so much, sis.
Thank
Very well done.
you. Have a
And
nice day.
a lot of you have asked me about the upcoming Cyber GRC class. It's a very straightforward process. And just wanted to share with everybody real quick. And this is very, very important for most of us. There are a lot of tons of materials you can leverage that are free within our community. Just go to skillwe.com and you can just go to this free ebook. Tons of materials here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't lose it. So many good stuff. You don't need to waste your time. There are a lot of good stuff here that you can just leverage immediately. Another thing you can leverage, we have a resume review here. We have a team dedicated in our community to review your resume and optimize it for application tracking systems so that you can have employers, you know, closely match you to the job. So it's really good. Make sure you leverage it big time also. For the upcoming class, it's August 3rd. A lot of you have asked that too. You just go to academy.skillwith. You can go to Star e-learning and you can immediately just see the program here. Tomorrow we'll have an information session. Feel free come in and ask all the questions at that point. And this is the website. A popular question all of you ask me, very simple. Is there a payment plan? Yes, you can just select any of these options twice or three times, and it's 30 days incremental. A lot of you also, we have a coupon code you can use. Feel free, just put in the coupon code. It's called, I believe, GRID 10, GRID 10, and you automatically get 10% off. I think it expires. Yeah, you get 10% off immediately. It expires end of the week or so. So, but anyway, that's the whole thing. Show up tomorrow for the info session. Good knowledge, and you'll be surprised. A lot of the jobs out there, even though you are doing AI auditing, they also always like people that have experience with other areas because once you do the large language model audits and you're done, and that's all you do, except you're a contractor, you're done, you move to another one. You want to be more stable, somewhere that you can always still leverage it big time. All right, all we got. God bless. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks for hanging out with us. And I'll see you all tomorrow. And just keep shining. Keep doing great things. Thank you, everybody.
Heart of Africa, a flame ignites, a rhythm so vibrant. It sets minds alight. Skill with academy, where leaders are born.
Before you go, please make sure you like the page if you don't mind. Like the page so more people can show up in the future. Thank you all. Let's go, people. We have the best community in the world. Thank you, Chibuzo. Thank you, Achuku. Thank you, Kunle. Amelia. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Stanley. Opera in the house. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Fantabulous. Belumi, Simon. Thank you, Kunle. Fadiora. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ileke. Thank you, Royal. Thank you, Debbie. Fadiora, you were awesome. Thank you so much, Ifam. Thank you so much. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Sanctified. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Tab. Thank you. Thank you for showing up, folks. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Funto. Funto in the house. Thank you. Thank you, Ibile. Thank you, Rich. All right. Enjoy the rest of the day. God bless.
Feel the drums pulsate.